What up, everyone? Welcome back. Guys, we made it. We made it through the bear market of February 24th through the 25th. All jokes aside, welcome back. My name is David. I am the host of the show today, where we take a fundamental and technical analysis approach on the cryptocurrency space. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at altcoins. We're going to take a look at some important metrics that I like to personally use to figure out where we are in the market, whether it's sentiment, whether it's the miners, whether it's the inflows, whether it's the options. And so we'll take a look at that. We'll also take a look at what sectors and what altcoins are pumping. And is the spill-off over, or could we potentially see some more downside? You know, the title of today's show is If Bitcoin Loses This Level, It's Over. I'll tell you exactly what level that is. So before we get started, like the video. And Ground Squirrel likes my shirt, Ethereum's. Hopefully Rob's watching. Had to bust out this bacon neck collar Ethereum shirt. So do me a favor, guys. Redman said, David, give me 5 things you did today. My mental's broken. My life is ruined. I can't die. God. I know this is not a political show or like outside a crypto show, but my God, come on, dude. Like, where did accountability go? It's just funny. Anyways, I need you guys to do me one favor, though. Like the video. Also, if there's anything you want me to take a look at or give my thoughts on, or what I think it's going to do, is it something worth holding on to or worth buying? Of course, we don't have to give any financial advice here, but feel free, throw it in the chat, and yeah, let's get started, man. I'm excited. All right. Here you have my YouTube metrics, as you can see here, 51 viewers. All right. So a couple things I want to take a look at. Obviously, let's take a look at the markets first, see what's been going on with the markets. Now, yesterday, I actually put in, and I'll talk through this on a Bitcoin chart. I did what we say not to do, which is to try to catch a falling knife. But I was so convinced that this 92K level was going to hold, because historically, and when I say historically, I mean going back to to November of last year, okay? That's my historically for this chart. This level has been extremely, extremely important. Even on wicks, candle closes, wicks. I thought for sure this was going to hold. And so I put in a long order on BTC around, I think it was 91.8. Obviously, that got flushed out, right? Lost my money. I did have a stop loss in. But still lost money, didn't feel good. And then this next level that, Magic definitely talked about. I also talked about this as well as a real possibility. And if you zoom out to the quarterly chart on BTC, you can see this 88K level. This was where we came back on a wick previously, right? We've come back on a wick twice now, and this level is held. And so what is Bitcoin going to do at the current level it is now? Well, it looks like, at the very least, it's cooled off. The selling's cooled off, right? We take a look at, and I was going to have this pulled up, but the reason I was a little late, I was going to go at 4:45, was because my mouse was doing something weird. I was trying to go on the chart and move tabs around, but I don't know what the hell it was doing. But obviously, we've seen liquidations cool off, right? This number was over 100 or 200 million at the highest peak yesterday. We're only sitting at 8.5 million in liquidations. And if you go out to the hour, it's still 89% longs. But if you zoom out to the 4-hour, we're now 50-50. 12-hour, we're still deep on the longs. And then the 24-hour. So the 4-hour is the only thing really showing us that, hey, it's about equal parts longs and shorts getting liquidated. You saw volatility spike yesterday. We went over that in yesterday's show. I'm not going to go over that again. But the massive sell-off has stopped. Now, I kind of shared my thoughts, my brief thoughts on the show. Now, on the morning show, there's 2 of us. So I don't like taking up too much time. But today is only me. And so what I think happened, and for me, it's, I'm a skeptical person. I'm a little bit of a paranoid person. And so my brain always thinks worst case scenario, but it also thinks, well, what if it's not worst case scenario? Then what could that look like? I just thought it was very convenient that Bybit was able to pay back their 100,000 ETH loan on the very day or the very next day where we saw massive liquidations. Now, we've seen the whole markets are manipulated and what market makers are doing. And usually the truth is somewhere in the middle. What the detractors say versus what the proponents say, the truth is usually somewhere right down the middle. Do I think manipulation is happening at the scale that the people on the far whichever side are saying, oh, they're completely manipulating the markets, they're holding the price down? Do I think it's that bad? No. Do I also think that there absolutely is no market manipulation and everything is fair? No, I don't believe that either. I think it's somewhere down the middle. And it's going to be hard for anyone to convince me that $1.5 billion was stolen off a platform. It doesn't even have to be Bybit. It could be anything. It could have been Coinbase. It could have been Binance. But $1.5 billion was taken off a platform, was stolen. The next, well, in a matter of 3 days, we see one of the, I think it was the second largest 24-hour liquidation ever in crypto's history. And then less than 24 hours later, that debt is paid back. That loan is paid back, right? And one thing you got to remember, any exchange, any derivatives exchange, they know everyone's liquidation points. And so I'm not accusing anyone of doing anything. I just think it's a question that I want to, propose. Do you guys think, and let me know in the comment section, do you guys think that there was some sort of manipulation at play here to recoup some of the money that was lost on the platform? Put a 1 if you think yes, put a 2 if you think no. But at the end of the day, every market faces manipulation, and you take a look at the price of Bitcoin, some of the price action you see, it just doesn't make sense. Like to me, right? If we're going to have a double top, okay? And let me zoom out. If we're going to have a double top, right? I mean, is it going to look like this? Is it going to essentially draw down? What was the drawdown here? From the initial top, a 55% drawdown, and then a double top? It's just very odd. I don't know. It's very, very odd to me. You go back to 2017. Now, of course, we didn't have a double top. We attempted at a double top. And I'm curious, where did this price level go? This is a 30% drawdown, okay? 30% drawdown. We made 2 new highs, and then we spilled off, and then it was a bear market. Here in 2021, you saw a drawdown of 60%, and then we go on to make another high, new all-time high. It was just very strange. And so there's definitely areas of price action where you take a look at it and you say, okay, something is weird. Something is not right. I'm not saying Wall Street doesn't have manipulation. Of course they do. But when you have exchanges that are A, trading against their customers, B, know their customers' liquidation points, and C, the market makers that are essentially unregulated and are free to do whatever they want, you're going to get these weird liquidations. You're going to get these weird spill-offs. And that's why we always say you always want to be careful, especially with trading or investing. But as far as I'm concerned, 87,257, obviously it held on the candle yesterday. I expect it to hold on this candle. Now, if we lose it, our immediate support is 83K, which is our 200-day MA band, right? Our EMA band right here that measures the low, the close, and the high. Okay, so this is a band. You can remove the band and just put on your EMA. This is going to be your close, right? Your closing EMA. I like to have the bands on because it gives you kind of a range versus a specific number. And so immediately, that's where we should catch support, which is right around 83,195. Now, if we lose this level, the level that I would look to lose and say, okay, fine, the bull market's over, is 71,887. 71,887. If we lose that level and spend any amount of time in here, whether it's now, we did have this consolidation here between 60 and 71K, but this was on the way up, right? Things were a lot different back then. The sentiment was different, right? The ETFs just launched. Now it seems macro is really holding the markets back. I mean, you take a look at the SPX. I know Magic briefly talked about this, but I don't think he showed an SPX chart. SPX chart on the daily was also down. You take a look at the NASDAQ, the triple Q, that was also down, although much higher at around 1.26%. The Dow actually ended the day green, and then the VIX had another green day. This is something that if you are a trader, you want to pay attention to is the VIX. Once you see the VIX start spiking up, typically means the markets are either going down or getting ready for a big leg down. And so that's kind of where I'm at with BTC. I want to see 87,257 hold. It is already held, and it looks like we're kind of, I mean, you got a low volume day. RSI is pretty much in the dumpster. We have really nothing flashing any positive signals on the MACD, at least on the hour, on the daily. On the 4 hour, we're trading below our 200-day moving average ribbon, but we also are coming into a potential bear flag pattern that we could see a breakdown from where prices currently are, or if we do trend a little bit higher. Now, I'm going to throw on some SNR levels here. Take a look. So 89, that was a level that is gone. If we zoom down to the 2 hour, or excuse me, not the 2 hour, zoom up to the 6 hour, right? Again, that 87K level is where we want to hold. Now, the measured move for this 4 hour pattern here would put us, this would be the measured move. Now, it doesn't always play out this way, but depending on where this thing breaks, if we get all the way back up to, let's say, 90K, you're looking at a $79,000 Bitcoin. Now, this is, again, on the shorter time frame, and these patterns can very well be invalidated. It just takes one piece of news, one big candle. We crossed the 50% threshold, meaning we gain back 50% of this move here. This move, if we gain back 50% of that move, then this pattern is invalidated. So we'll see how this thing plays out again on the 4 hour. Let's see if we can see anything on the 1 hour. So we did get a bullish crossover on the MACD on the 1 hour. As you can see down here, our blue MACD line is crossed above our signal line, but you're seeing momentum starting to wane as these colors shift from bright green to more of a subtle grayish green. And again, you can kind of see the same pattern here on the 1 hour for BTC, and it looks like it might be breaking down. But again, those levels that we're looking for is 87,257. If you get a retest again, that should hold. And the level below that was that 83K level for BTC. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what the markets do. I'm actually very curious. Let's take a peek at where the inflows came in today. Now, we're not going to have the entirety of the numbers, but we should see, you know, Fidelity and BlackRock are always last. So, looks like today's gearing up for another pretty big outflow day. Now, again, we'll see what BlackRock and Fidelity show us, but right now we've gotten 88 million flowing out of Bitwise, another 85 million. Well, cumulatively, Grayscale is out like 150 million between their two products, their GBTC and their BTC product. And then Franklin Templeton also saw outflows of $74 million. This is followed up by a historic day yesterday of $500 million flowing out. Now, you see the trend here over the last week, 7 days. It has been every single day has been outflows. And so, you know, did it come to a point where outflows, and I know the ETF issuers, they settle their with Coinbase and their custodians. I think it's now the rule is 4 or 6 hours afterwards. It was like 7 days, but I believe they settle every single day. And someone feel free to correct me if I have my information wrong in the chat. But obviously macro, they're going risk off. You see drawdown in the stock market, in the S&P, the triple Q. You see a drawdown, you see the VIX spiking up, and then you see the ETF issuer or the ETF selling. Now, the beauty of this too is, if there is a company or a hedge fund or a, I don't know, person who's buying through the ETF and they have a quota that they want to meet percentage-wise, we talk about this all the time. If they were like, you know, 2%, I want exposure to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's price goes down, well, that 2% now drops. And so what do? They have to buy to get back up to that 2%. Could we see more buying in the future? Potentially, but as of right now, it's pretty obvious. I mean, you don't need me to sit here and tell you the structure of the chart is red, especially after we broke past that 92.49 level. And again, here, and you know what? There was one person, I think it was Mike, who likes this indicator here, the price action concepts. You know what, Mike? For you, my friend, I will make you a video just for you, kind of showing you what levels I have plotted out and kind of my settings on the price action concepts of what I have turned on and turned off. But this large order block, around 18% of all trades happened. It was edged out with the buyers barely, but obviously we fell literally right through that level. Now, the previous week low, which was 93.3, that's going to be an important level to try to get back to, which again kind of coincides with that 92.5 level, which was extremely important that we lost. Now, interestingly enough, anytime we've gotten down here to this 92.4 level, which is the other part of me that's telling me the sentiment has shifted and the structure of the chart has shifted. You take a look. I mean, this was back on December 20th, right? And when you see these hollowed out candles, that means there was a liquidity grab. Okay. Price wicks down here, liquidity grab, price pushes to the upside, closes the day green. Liquidity grab on the 30th of December, right? We had the large liquidity grab and Bitcoin rallied another 10.7%. And then just 19 days later, 20 days later, same thing, a liquidity grab at 92.5 and Bitcoin rallies to all-time highs. Now, we didn't have a liquidity grab here, but again, wick, push to the upside, and then this one here, I mean, got close enough. This was on the 18th of February, so exactly 7 days ago to the day, liquidity grab and price pushed up from wick to wick around 6%. And so that failed. The structure of the chart has failed. The sentiment is in the garbage. So the next places we're looking at, guys, again, 87,257. Don't be afraid to put a long trade in here unless we see something else on the chart. But yeah, and again, on the bottom here, we do have some gaps that need to be filled, including a gap between 81.5 and 85.4. And so these are just some key levels to take a look out for. Whether you're looking at long or looking at short, the time to short was the breakout below this 92K level. Now, the markets obviously move so fast that you barely have enough time to pull up a chart and really process the information. Sometimes, me personally, sometimes I got to pull the trigger. Other times you wait and see. But I would be careful shorting the markets now. I do expect a relief rally coming out of BTC. And again, the level we're looking to take out is that 92.5 level. We're probably going to get some resistance right at 90K, which we're trending up towards there now at 88,237. All right, I'll go back to the chat here. Take a look at some people. 4-year cycle broken, said Redman. Maybe I've thought about that. Having a bull and a bear market, but much shorter. So instead of a year or a 12 to 18 month bull market, we have a 6 to 8 month bull market. Instead of a 2.5 year bear market, we have a 8 month, 10 month, 12 month bull, bear market. So I think that's definitely a possibility. I mean, like you take a look at the way in a lot of ones here. You guys think of this manipulation? I agree. You look at the stock market, unless there's a recession, it's not 2 years of down only. It's a much shorter time frame. So I think eventually, it makes sense, right? You get Wall Street and hedge funds and institutional investors coming in. The market's gonna look a lot like the market they're playing in currently in Wall Street. Daniel Clifford said, not a bear market, but I think 4-year market is broken. I think a correction to 70s is given at the moment. I can see that. But again, the important thing is staying above that 71.7 level. If we break below, now a wick below is fine. Maybe a candle or two close below is fine. But if we spend more than 3, 4, 5 days there, I would say, hey, look, the bull market's over. Let's get ready for the next bear market. Chingon say, hey, Dave, we got a nice call yesterday. Appreciate it for anytime. Chingon, you're very welcome, my friend. And then Oriana said, sometimes it's not in the trader's hands, more or less the hands and nuts of a Guatemalan butterfly. Haven't looked into the Guatemalan butterfly, but very interesting. All right, let's take a look at some funding rates here. Let's take a swig of my energy drink. All right, so funding rates. If you're not familiar, essentially funding rates are negative. They're paying people to open longs. If funding rates are positive, they're paying people to open shorts. And so you can see funding rates for BTC are still green. So as of an hour and 12 minutes ago today, ETH green. Solana actually has negative funding rates. Now, obviously, the darker it gets to the blue, the higher. Athena has just been getting destroyed, right? This thing got to as high as 383% negative funding rates. But you see across the board, BNB's got negative funding rates. XRP's got negative funding rates. AVAX has negative funding rates. Litecoin, ADA, SWI, right? All of these have negative funding rates, and these things do revert back to the mean as everything does. And, which brings me to my point. I was looking at the markets and I was looking at my portfolio. I expected it to be down more than what it was. And I'm like, why? AI actually is doing fairly well. Let's take a look at some AI projects here, okay? Let's take a look at Virtuals Protocol. You guys know I'm a big Virtuals bull. If you hold Virtuals Protocol, let me know in the comment section. Virtuals Protocol, over $1.10. Pretty damn good. I mean, if you were to tell me Bitcoin went from 97,000 to sub 90K and had 2 billion liquidations, I would tell you Virtuals Protocol probably got to like 80 cents, 85 cents. But it's held up strong, and that previous week low has held up as support right around that 92 cent to $1 level. Now, I'm a very big bull on Virtuals Protocol. I love the team. I believe in what they're doing. And again, you can see here catching support on that 200-day EMA ribbon. I'm a true believer in what Virtuals is doing. And so I love that team. I love the project. And when you see this drawdown, this is just from wick to where we are, you're looking at an 80% drawdown. Now, typically, you look at something like this and you say, oh, the project's kind of dead. I don't know. But the team, I don't know if you guys watched the interview that we put on YouTube with co-founder Wiki, but these guys were building, their project got to $600 million, and they watched it go down to $6 million, and they continue to build, they continue to spend resources, spend money, bring people into their ecosystem. And this move was a result of those years of hard work and not giving up. So to me, when I look at a project, 80% drawdown, initially I'm like, okay, what changed fundamentally? Nothing changed. Okay, what about the team? Do they have the runway? Do they have the capital? Do they have the resources? Do they have the will to continue building when we know their money is tied into their own token? Do they have the willpower and the resources to be able to continue building? And Virtuals Protocol, for me, that is a yes. And so I actually bought some sub $1 on Virtuals Protocol, although I have a pretty fat bag of it. I shouldn't be buying more, but I can't help myself. Like a 90% discount on a project like Virtuals Protocol, to me, it was an absolute no-brainer. So that one's doing fairly well. Another one I was looking at was AIXBT. Again, in the AI space, right? Now, AIXBT had a massive run. I got entry into this. I got my position entry here, right around 3 cents. And now this is, you know what? Actually, let's do this. Let's take a look. Let's go Bybit. Okay. Now AXBT, I got in right around 3 cents. And if we zoom out to the hour, see what's going on here. So it's attempting to reclaim its 200-day moving average. Obviously, you can tell that chart has been down to the right with multiple lower highs and lower lows. Now, if we can get, right, what do we need for the structure of this chart to change? We need to take out some highs. The first high we need to take out is around 22.3 cents. And the next key high that I'm taking a look at here is right around 31.46 cents. If we can take those highs out and build on top of that, and you kind of have an Adam and Eve pattern here. If we could take these highs out, you're looking at a potential change in market structure. And you can see here, I mean, if you really want to like look for something and find a potential positive, you're looking at potentially an inverse head and shoulders, which it looks like has broken to the upside, right? We broke above that 200-day EMA, the ribbon, and we saw prices come back down and find support right around that close of the 200-day EMA. But again, structure is still negative, and we're looking to take out those highs, 23 cents and 32 cents, for us to be more confident as far as in the short term price action for AIXBT. Now, we did see a little bit of consolidation right around this equilibrium zone, which is right between 1908 and 19.39 cents. But this is a project, if you believe that social has a big impact, and I mean like a social footprint, right? You have a lot of followers, you have a community. If you think that has any role in price action and popularity, AIXBT is the #1 KOL on crypto Twitter. #1. And so, you know, you can argue with me. I'm just saying from a bias perspective, and from the amount of content it's able to put out and the amount of followers it's gained in such a short period of time, AIXBT, I believe, will be considered a blue chip in the AI space once that sector starts to rally yet again. Take a look at some of the other big gainers. Now, Story Protocol, this is one, you know what? I'm actually curious. Where is that Story Protocol in conjunction with, I forget the name. I'm gonna have to look it up again. But they launched a Virtual's AI agent. So it's sitting at $3.82 million. This is launched by the Story team, and here will be the name, Opulus. So in conjunction with Opulus and Story, they launched the Lyra AI agent on Virtual Protocol. So this would have been a great kind of a play on Story. Now we know the token just came out, and a lot of people hit me up and saying, "Hey man, this thing's running hot." I did some digging into it. I told them, "Look, you don't want to hop on this train. It's moving way too fast, and you're going to get wrecked." And so if you ended up getting in at the top around $6.50, this thing got down to sub $3.40, or excuse me, sub $4. It got all the way down around $3.88. That would have been a great buying opportunity. But this is something that I personally don't hold. I like to hold other things like, I like to get exposure via proxy with Lyra, for example. But that's just me personally. But this is a project on Virtual's Protocol. I think we put it in the Discord at like 2.5 mil. It ran up to, this thing ran up to $7.5 million. And then, of course, the market's turned, and this thing has lost a majority of its initial pump already, even though we had another big rally from around 2.3 million to 6 million, and we're currently sitting at 3.73. So that Story, that's leading the 24-hour gainers. Now, MakerDAO, okay? MakerDAO and Quant are 2 and 3. And I want to share something with you guys. I want to share this. So this is posted by Sentiment, okay? It says, looking for projects with major whale transfer activity on a big dip buy day. Here are the coins with the top increases in whale activity in the past 24 hours. Number 1, MakerDAO, right? Number 2, Polygon, Floki, Quant, Render, Uniswap, Aave, and Wrapped Bitcoin. And so talking about for stable coins on this list, meaning people are buying the stable coins. And so I haven't seen any numbers come in as far as how much money or maybe printing of stable coins from Tether or Circle to kind of inject. It's our own money printer, right? Tether and Circle are our version of the Fed. Anytime we see 200 million USDT has been issued on the Ethereum blockchain, there's going to be a pump in the Ethereum ecosystem. So just interesting, you see the whale activity and you tie it into, well, what's up on the day, 24-hour, the biggest gainers. 2 of them are in the top 3, including MakerDAO and Quant. Quant to me is an interesting one. Last cycle, the narrative was really good, right? Layer 0 and Gilbert Verdian and his kind of ties to federal governments. I know he worked for the Queen. It's like essentially like not the IRS, but like the Treasury Department, but like that version in the UK with the Queen. But now I just, like I've said before, if your utility was like Polygon, for example, right? Scaling Ethereum, layer 2, great. Oh my God, it's number 1. People are using it. The price shoots up. That's their utility and use case. And the thesis for that was beneath layer 2, right? Scaling Ethereum. Quant, same thing. But now you have a lot of projects that are doing exactly what Quant is doing. The one thing I will say about Quant, though, is the team and the people they know, their connections, their resources. And so I wouldn't completely write Quant off. It's just, for me, the risk to reward is not there for QNT. And I used to be a big QNT bull. Some of the other big gainers here, Celestia is up 11%, IMX up 10%, Athena, man, I got crushed on this. I bought this thing around 80 cents, so I'm down 50% on my position. I haven't capitulated. My thesis is still in play for Athena. The only thing was the unlocks were bothering me a little bit, so I did de-risk just a tad bit, but I didn't capitulate and sell. And then, of course, we mentioned Virtual's Protocol. Now, one thing I'm keeping my eye on is activity on the chain. Once we start seeing that pick up, I'll definitely make a note of it and kind of share with you guys on the stream. So that's kind of the biggest gainers. I'm just going to peek back into the chart here. Danny White said D King and AI on. I agree. I did a I did a post for the Patreon members, just like a super easy money hack. And I'm not gonna say what it is because I don't want the people that are paying to be part of Patreon. I don't want to feel like the people who are not are getting the information for free. And so it's a play around what Danny White brought up, D King, AION, and one other one. And so it was pretty good. Also, Tau. Ooh, I love Tau. You guys know I'm a big BitTensor bull. I love what they're doing. I love the subnets and the DTAU. If you're not familiar, just a quick overview. DTAU was launched, Dynamic Tau, which allowed people the option of either staking directly to the Tau mainnet, the root they call, or to alpha chains, which is their subnets. And so that essentially, I mean, I think they've seen an increase of 15 to 20% in new subnets that have joined the ecosystem. And with the reward system in place with DTAU, to me, it's a no-brainer. Unless the only way you can get me to sell my BitTensor is for you to convince me that AI is not going to be a big narrative moving forward. But again, let's zoom out to you know what, actually on BitTensor, we had this really, and I've had this pattern on here for a while. And you see here, this is a falling wedge pattern on the 1 day for BitTensor. We broke above, and then look at where we're catching support, right at the top end of this trend line. And so sometimes it's just as easy. I mean, if you want to have the simplest form of trading, sometimes the easiest is wait for a resistance to flip to support and long to support. And this would be one of those scenarios. And that support currently, if we get there on this candle, is 353.20. Right? Let me just throw a flag on there so you guys can see. 354.40. Okay, so that's the level. We want to see what price does beforehand. And so could we fall back into this pattern? Potentially, not likely. If we do, the downside target here would be right around between 270, around call it 250 to 265. If we fall back into the pattern and kind of test the lower end of that trend line, I don't think we're going to unless we get another big leg down in the price of BTC, altcoins start getting crushed, and Bitcoin is trading under like 82K, then sure, I can see something like that happening. But you see some projects, I saw someone say Caspa actually held up fairly well, right? Caspa held up well, Virtual Protocol held up well. And think about what are those two projects have in common? What do those two projects have in common? They were bleeding massively when other projects were actually doing the opposite. They were holding steady. Where the hell is Caspa? Should be, there you are. So let's go to the quarterly on Caspa. Okay. Nothing there. Let's go to the monthly on Caspa. And this level here, right? High time frame. You know what? Let me draw a box here. We're going to start here and we're going to go here. So this would be the level that if you're looking to add or long Caspa, this would be the level on the high time frame, right? This is between 8.2 cents and around 11 cents. Okay. You want to be a little more price sensitive. You can scoot this down and you're now around 11 still at 11 cents. So this has been a key value area for Caspa. You take a look at how price action, just look at how price reacts to these areas. You see large wicks and then big pumps, large wicks, big pumps, large wicks, big pumps. And this is on the monthly time frame. And so to me, though, if I'm being honest with you, this looks like Caspa's in a bear market, right? So we'll see what happens. There's around 3 days left until this candle closes. But you zoom out to the daily, and that box remains, and you can see again, anytime you bought Caspa between 8 and 11 cents, for the most part, you've made money, right? If you bought Caspa here at 8.3 cents, you made money because this thing rode all the way up to 11 cents, and you can see perfectly to the number 11 cent resistance. So to me, on the way up, that is going to be the most important level on the way up. And one thing you got to remember too, if you're in a project that rallies when everything else is not rallying, and I'll just show you, okay? We'll look at Caspa versus Can we do Caspa versus ETH? No, that's right. Caspa versus ETH. No Caspa versus ETH. Definitely Caspa versus BTC. Okay, so you look at Caspa versus Bitcoin. Now we look, okay, Caspa had its rally, really started in 2023. Let's take a look at how Caspa versus Bitcoin performed. And I had these levels plotted out here, but we'll get rid of those. So going back to 2023, Caspa was blowing Bitcoin out of the water, right? From low to high, it outperformed Bitcoin by around 280%. So Bitcoin, and if I could pair this against any other, we can just actually throw on. Let's throw on, I don't want to throw on ETH. Let's throw on Solana. Okay. Let's throw on Sol Dollar and take a look at where Caspa was against Solana. It was outpacing, so the Caspa Bitcoin chart was outpacing Solana. This is on the daily time frame, and then eventually it flipped, right? It flipped. And so if you're going to be in a project that it's running when everything else is not, you're going to get pullbacks when everything else is not. Or you're going to get stagnation or consolidation or really choppy markets when everything else is not. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. But Caspa, for me, where I think it's going to get the most of its gains, and you're really going to see the potential of Caspa and what it could do price action wise, is going to be in the next market cycle. I'll explain to you exactly why. We don't have smart contracts. They're building partnerships behind the scenes. It's just not here yet. If you remember Cardano in 2021, smart contracts launched at the top of the bull market. Cardano's price reached its tippy top right when the smart contracts launched. And so kind of similar to where we're seeing Caspa, it's just when you have projects like Caspa, like Cardano, like SWI, they take some time, especially if you don't have big VCs and big money backing your project that are essentially propping up the price so they can make their money, which Caspa does not have. And so I hold Caspa. I haven't sold any Caspa. I plan on holding Caspa, and I plan on buying more Caspa if we ever get under 8 cents, which we very well might never get to, potentially. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Caspa. But a couple of things I want to share. So this one was pretty interesting. M2 Money, which is money supply in the United States, has been rising at the fastest pace in 30 months. Okay. Just to show you the correlation to, let's just, you know what? Let's do the altcoin chart. And let's throw on M2. Let's go economy, velocity of M2, right here, United States money supply, bam. Okay, let's go to the 5-year. Let me shrink this down. We'll shrink this, no, we'll keep that there. Anytime we see expansion in money supply, it precedes a big rally in the market, okay? So for the money supply, right, and then look at that. We topped out right around March of 22, and when did we get into our bear market? In 2022. This was back on Monday. This is in May of 2023. We started seeing money supply expand, and look what happened to the price of the altcoin markets, right? They also started to expand. And so that's just, it's just, I mean, more money in, some of it goes in altcoins, great. And now we're seeing another expansion in the money supply. And again, according to Zero Hedge, the fastest pace in 30 months. And so could we be in a scenario where we start seeing large pumps in crypto again? In altcoins specifically? Potentially. Solana. I like Solana long-term, very medium, short-term. I would be careful, especially with their ecosystem. Turbo held great as well, and it's a meme. I'm punting on memes for the most part. I have a little bit of Doge. I have some Snack. I have some other ones, but for the most part, like new ones, forget about it. Punting completely on those. But as far as meme coins, I think what we saw that started with Trump, then his wife, then Malay, everything we've seen so far, it's just got people on edge, and I'm just not a fan. I'm staying away, even if it's something like a 100x or a 50x. It's like going. You might as well book a flight, book a hotel, come to Vegas, sit at the slot machine, put $1,000 in, and press $100 at a time, and try to hit the $20,000 jackpot. You'll have a better chance, and I can argue a better time doing that, because guess what? When you're sitting there and playing, you're going to get free drinks, and you get to come out and hang out with us at Sin City Crypto. All right, one ecosystem I am very intrigued by is Sonic, okay, formerly known FKA, Phantom. And one specific protocol, which is this DEX here, SwapX, seen a 42% gain in TVL over the last 7 days. Take a look at some metrics here from Dune Analytics. Sorry about the super bright white. So bro, what's up? That's my little guy. So current TVL, again, 50 million. But what I want you to focus at is the TVL in the pools. Every epoch, this continues to gain. Swap fees, every epoch, this continues to go up. Volume, every epoch, this continues to go up. But the more important thing I want to tune your attention to is the locked percentage, okay? Every epoch, again, the percentage of the SwapX token that is locked goes up. It went from 77%, well, actually, Epoch 7, it went down a little bit, but 77% in Epoch 6, with a total supply of around 51.6 million, to a total supply of 53 million, with the average lock F74. Now, percentage-wise, it went down. But nominal value-wise, you take a look at the locked amount in gray, 39.8 million and 40.4 million, because I'm not going to explain why that works that way, but obviously the more tokens that come into circulation, and the same at pace, if it's a little less percentage-wise, you're still going to get more tokens that are locked, which is the important thing when you're analyzing from a fundamental standpoint. If you like to take that into account, how many tokens are circulating? When is the unlocks? How many are going to flood the markets? Like, everyone's freaking out about the Solana unlock. I actually think Solana's going to pump on that. And call me crazy, I don't know, but either way. And also on SwapX, you can actually provide liquidity. So you take your Sonic, you wrap it. I use the Rabby wallet, RABBY. Beautiful interface, super fast, easy. It's actually an EVM wallet too. So you can have ETH on there, any other EVM tokens. And you can provide dual-sided liquidity and earn. You can see the fees here is 379% on the USD versus USDC SwapX token, up to 380%. It's super easy. It's super simple. And when you go to the Phantom chart, Phantom for me is on the daily. I am a buyer. I'm a buyer at 56 cents, and I could have swore I had. And you take a look at the monthly chart for Phantom, okay? 56.5. Now, why am I showing Phantom and not Sonic? Sonic just doesn't have the amount of data I need as far as price action wise, because obviously the token migrated from Phantom to Sonic, but it tracks it 1-to-1, 73.96 cents, Sonic 73.96 cents. So this level here on the high time frame, the monthly, this 56.51, you can see this has been a key resistance level and also a key support level. As we bumped up against this, essentially came into a cup and handle pattern, broke out, came back on a retest, and the first retest we did good, right? It didn't fail. And the second retest we actually failed. And this was back in August of 2024, but Phantom has been on absolute fire. And so for me, you can take a look from a trading standpoint. You look, okay, a couple things happening here. One, you see price dipped down to that 56 cent level, came right back up. We're also trading right in our MA band zone. But what you're also seeing, if you're a pattern person, is you are seeing an almost picture perfect cup and handle pattern. What is the measured move for your cup and handle pattern? Depending on where it breaks, if it breaks here, you're looking at $1.17. If we take another leg down, and let's say it breaks from around 68 cents, you're looking at $1.12. And if it goes all the way down to this 57 cent level, you're looking at $1 even. And so the setup on Phantom looks great. The fundamentals keep saying Phantom. On Sonic, look great. The fundamentals on Sonic look great. Tokenomics are great. Team is great. DeFi, great. We believe in DeFi, and this is a project that's got velocity, that's got people excited, and again, it's got a team behind it that is, Andre Cronje alone. There's a reason he's the godfather of DeFi. And so this is one of my plays that I would keep an eye on, and then you start digging into their ecosystem and what that looks like, and you can find some gems in there. One of them, NFA, is SwapX. The token is currently trading at 66.3 cents. I actually bought some 2 days ago. It was at like 51 cents, so up a little bit, but something I plan on holding for a little bit of time because I think this TVL is going to continue to grow. I think this thing's going to explode to like $3-4 billion for Sonic. And so that's one project. From a TA side, I think a breakout is coming with that cup and handle pattern, again, being at that 200-day EMA. And as long as that holds, Sonic, I think it's a straight shot to $1. And that dollar level is very important. As you can see here, large order block should see some sell pressure at $1. Plus, it's a large psychological number. So you're looking at a potential 20 to 25% gain, whether it's a swing trade, an arb trade, or just adding to your, flip bag or cycle to cycle bucket for Phantom. And again, it's a project that's been around for a while. Nothing I worry about as far as is it going to go away or are they going to keep building. A couple of stats I want to share with you guys, some kind of fundamental analysis here. So this one is the Bitcoin miner reserve. How much Bitcoin are the miners holding? So this is the amount of coins held by the affiliated miner wallets. And it looks like their reserves have gone down. So they've essentially been selling more than they're keeping. And so could this be a sign of capitulation, and that capitulation being over as we've hit essentially the lowest point we've been at really since December of last year? And we saw price bottomed out and we went on to our second high, which is $109,000. So that to me is a positive. The second one is Bitcoin estimated leverage ratio. How much leverage are you degens using? And you can see the inverse correlation. Anytime we see leverage ratio spike, right, we see a dip in the price. And this kind of goes to the exchanges, right? When you start putting in, when the market's euphoric, you start putting in 20, 30x leverage positions, and your liquidation points come down, and that gap from market price to liquidation price shrinks. It's much easier to get a wick down and liquidate people. And so you do tend to see these things move in ebbs and flows. And I'll kind of zoom into the 1 month. Actually, not the 1 month. We'll zoom into the 1 year. And you can see this thing has just been grinding up. So meaning more people are using more and more leverage for trades. Anytime we see a large spike, we see a flush out in the market, which is what we saw just yesterday. Large spike to around a 0.27 ratio, and then we saw prices dip. And so now you're seeing leverage come down, which is great. So could we see a reversal based on that? And then the last thing I want to share on the metrics, this is CME futures open interest, okay? So you have a stacked chart here, and I want you to pay attention to the ratio of, you know what? We can hide these. I want to look at green versus red, or excuse me, green versus orange, okay? Anytime, and I'm not saying this is a trend to really like follow, buy on, but you take a look, okay? Your green is your options that have a 2 to 3 month expiry. Think of it in terms of bonds, okay? If more people are buying 20, 30-year bonds, they have more faith in the U.S. government, right? I don't mind getting my money back in 20 years. I think you guys are still going to be solvent and still have the capabilities to pay me my money back in a year. I'm good. If you see a spike in the 30-day, 90-day, 120-day, 1-year notes, and a decrease in the 20 and 25 and 30 year, then you get to kind of get the idea that, all right, maybe people aren't as confident in the U.S. government. And so kind of the same idea. Now, they're not a one-for-one exact, this is what's going on here, which is mean that's what's going on there. That's not what I'm saying, but just interesting here, okay? If we just zoom out to the all-time, anytime we see more longer-term expiries outpace shorter-term expiries, right? It's about 50%. It precedes a rally in the price of Bitcoin, okay? Let's go to the 1 year. Let's take this for example. Okay. We saw the 2 to 3 month increase over the 1 to 2 month, and Bitcoin hit a low, and Bitcoin went from 92K to a high of 106. Then when the flip happens, it precedes a downturn. Like here, this is back on December 6th of 2024, even bleeding into like December 10th. We saw the 1 to 2 month expiries go up and the 2 to 3 month expiries take a nosedive. And guess what Bitcoin did? Went from 101 to 96.6. Okay, so that trend, and you can kind of just, you want to screenshot this on your screen and kind of zoom in and look for yourself real free. But I'm going to zoom in to here, okay? Let's do this. And you can see we're starting to see a spike in the 2 to 3 month over the 1 to 2 month. Could that mean a move to the upside is coming? My bet would be yes, it is. And so just some things to kind of keep in perspective outside of just the USD chart, right? What's happening? What's happening really? What are the miners doing? What's retail doing? What are the whales doing? What are the ETFs doing, right? How's the sentiment of the market short-term, medium-term, and long-term for BTC? We know long-term, very bullish. Now we got to worry about the short and the medium-term. I can argue the short-term has been bearish. It's quietly shifting bullish. The medium-term is also shifting closer to bullish than a bearish. And so I think we're in for a reversal, but I would keep an eye again on that 92.5 level for BTC. If we can reclaim that, I think we're making new all-time highs. If we go up there, fail, come back down, and lose 87.5, I think that max pain scenario of 81 to 83K. And then if we get down to that 71,000, I think officially, for me at least, the bull market will be over and we prepare for the next market. But good news is we're not there yet. And we know with Bitcoin, with crypto, we have so much in the pipeline. We have so much in the pipeline. Any one of those things drops, news drops, one of those catalysts actually happens, the structure of the market can literally change in a day, in an entire day. We can come back in a day. Let's just say, here's a scenario for you. Let's just say in the month of March, they passed the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Bill, and they say, okay, we are going to buy, the number is 200,000 a year. Let's just say we're going to buy 5,000 Bitcoin every Friday, every second Friday. And that is announced, and it's set in stone. It's written in the legislation. What do you think the price of Bitcoin is going to do? You think people are going to try to front run the U.S. government, who owns the money printer in the world? Can you see them just saying, you know what? I'm still pretty bearish on Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm not going to touch this thing. No, they're going to go out and front run the thing. They're going to say, oh shit, the money printer is coming for Bitcoin. Let me get a position. And so we have so many of those level catalysts that are just sitting in the back burner, just waiting and waiting and waiting. And one of them could completely flip the entire sentiment, the entire market structure, and literally everything. And this chart could look the complete opposite. And we can take out multiple highs in a single candle and be right back above 100K. And everyone's, oh my God, the bull market's back. Don't get caught up in short-term emotions. Expand your peripherals. Look outside of the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and even sometimes the daily chart, and try to understand what is happening. Try to look forward 6 months, 12 months. What can you expect? And then start zooming in, make money on the zoom in, prepare yourself for the zoom out. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm just going to take a quick peek at the chat one last time, and I'm going to get out of here. So shout out to all you guys. Thank you so much again. Redman, Lucio, Mario, Smashatoshi, Triple D, Ameg, Caspian, Muhammad, one of my favorite people. Love you, Muhammad. I don't even know you, but I like you. Everything to zero, apparently. And then TP Hand, Boeing left Hedera, and I'm turning them into Caspa Key. I'm an engineer at Boeing. Okay. What's up with the planes, man? Look, bro, nothing against you, but anytime I book a flight, I got to make sure it ain't no Boeing. I only fly Airbus and Embraer or whatever the hell that's called. Even that's bad. But all jokes aside, man, that's interesting. I don't think like from a brand perspective, Boeing holds the weight that it used to have. I don't know. That's just me personally. Nothing to back that up. Is Sonic on Uniswap? I don't think so. Good question. Where can we buy Sonic? So where can you buy Sonic? Now, if you're in the US, you know what? The Sonic I bought Phantom a long time ago. And I just actually bridged that over to Sonic literally like a few days ago. So let's take a look at where can we buy Sonic? Because I don't want to give you guys any wrong information. Damn it, guys. I was going to stop streaming and go downstairs and play some Fortnite with my kids. All jokes aside. It looks like it's available on Kraken, but it's still available as Phantom. You know what? Let me check on my phone because I have Kraken. Let me see if I can buy. See if I can buy Phantom or Sonic on Kraken. Yes, I agree to your terms of service. Okay, let's take a look at spot and margin. Let's search Sonic. Oh, that's not the Sonic. Let's look at FTM. Okay, so so for US, you got Kraken. Love Kraken. And outside the US, I mean, I think that's it. Right? You got Binance, you got OKX. But if you have a Kraken account, all you got to do, my friends, is go to Kraken, buy your Phantom, okay? Then download this wallet here. This Rabby wallet, okay? RABBY, it's a Chrome extension. Download the wallet, send your Phantom to that wallet, and then you can bridge it over to Sonic. And the website is... Shit. I could have swore I had it yesterday. Let me see if I can find that website. That way you guys aren't using any malicious websites or links and kind of get your wallets drained. Let me see. I could have swore I put it in here somewhere. Let's see if it's in here. You know what? Let me see if it'll pop up. Okay, there we go. All right, I got it. So the website is my.soniclabs.com/upgrade. Okay? Screenshot this, and I will actually put it in the live chat. Ivan said he sold everything today. That's why the markets are turning. I agree with Victor. Thank you for your sacrifice, my friend. Is the Sonic on Femex for 30 cents? No, it is not Irish Red. That is a different Sonic. FTM or S is the ticker you are looking for. But there, anyways, guys, I dropped the website there, my.soniclabs.com/upgrade. Once you get your Phantom on Kraken, remove it, put it in your Rabby wallet, go to that website, I put it in there, and it'll bridge it over, and you have Sonic officially. So hope that helps you guys. All right. I love you guys. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. Have a great day. And we'll see you tomorrow morning for the live show. Until then, peace.